Sportsfeld. Oh my God, it feels so good to be back.
Look at
literally
this.
look at us.
Look at us.
Literally look at us.
This is amazing.
On video for the first time.
On mics that
all kinds of
nice.
new equipment.
Look, this thing is amazing.
This is cool.
I could play with this all day.
All kinds of new equipment. We have new microphones. We have new talkback systems.
I can mute the mic if I press the button. I'm not going to because I got in trouble before already.
That was quick. But the most important news is that we are back in the saddle.
We are back. I don't know what happened there with my voice.
How did you feel about taking August off?
I liked it, to be honest.
I did too.
Not
so much the not doing a show.
I like doing the show because I feel like it's we've talked about this before, but like this idea of sort of a place to put creativity and creative juices. And I definitely felt over August being like stagnated with that.
Okay.
But I also know that we've done shows in August before.
True.
And when there's nothing to talk about, I feel like the shows would have been not bad because we're really good at this, but like they would have been lacking. I can only think
about like maybe 2 or 3 things that we like really wish we.
I feel like it would have been 4 weeks of being like, so the Blue Jays are still the same.
Correct. We did miss some stuff. We missed the Blue Jays finishing their trade deadline.
Yes, we did, which of course happened the day after our show.
That's correct. It was. We were here for the Stroman trade.
Yes,
but we were not here for the Aaron Sanchez trade, which was part of the Joe Biagini trade. I
appreciate. I thought at first you weren't going to mention Joe Biagini. I was like, yes,
yeah, one more time in my whole life, and then we're done. Freddie Galvis was given away for nothing.
Yeah, which fine.
Some relievers that I've already forgotten the names of.
We can get into this when we get into the Jays.
We will.
Like, boy, there was a lot of emotions about Freddie Galvis that didn't need to happen.
Isn't it strange?
So weird
to already be that attached to a guy who only played half a season on a bad team.
Yeah, and who like months ago, everyone was like, "Oh, we got Freddie Galvis."
I will say this: we didn't know that we were getting Bo Bichette when that immediately happened.
True.
That's not true at all. I'm wrong about that.
No, we didn't know he was going to be like
right, but it was the Zobrist. Not the Zobrist. It was the Eric Sogard. Remember Eric Sogard? That was this year. That was this year.
No,
that was
genuinely forgot.
Eric Sogard was the Bo call up. But the Jays, they continue. I would say
they continue to Jay.
They became sneaky watchable. Is what I would say happened.
I agree. Actually, I have watched more Blue Jays games in the last month than I have the rest of the season. I would say that.
Some of the stuff that happened. Bianca Andreescu
has arrived.
Called it.
We
called it.
Well, Kaitlyn McGrath called it.
That counts as we.
Yeah, she did it on this show.
Yes,
so it counts.
She won the fucking Rogers Cup of all tournaments. For a Canadian to win,
she kind of won.
Who won the Rogers Cup this year?
She won with an asterisk
on the actual Rogers Cup.
I'm just here to ruin everyone's. I'm just here to be the buzzkill.
Whose name is engraved in the trophy?
Bianca.
Let me do the same thing. The NBA Finals doesn't count because KD was hurt then.
Well, no, because the NBA Finals were played.
They played the game. They went 3-1, and then she retired.
I guess
the Raptors won.
I don't know.
No Klay Thompson.
I don't know
no
why
Kevin Durant.
I also don't know why I just immediately went like, it's great.
We just had a whole meeting about how great she is.
Never had a negative thought about her before, and I'm like, wow.
Evidently,
just try to be the contrarian to your optimist.
Speaking about being contrarian, we were wrong. We are wrong a lot. I will say that.
Yep.
Almost
constantly.
I personally make a habit of it.
Yeah.
But
almost every day.
Maybe never in the history of this show have we been as wrong as we were about Canada basketball.
To be fair to us,
sure,
almost every player that we discussed when we talked about Canada basketball did not play.
Did we name a single player that played other than Corey Joseph?
Kelly Olynyk played for a minute. Then he got hurt.
Yeah, I guess that counts. Boy, what a disaster that was. We're going to get into all this stuff a little later. Other stuff that we probably aren't going to talk about today, but stuff that did happen. Raptors are popping up in your off-season workout videos.
Matt Thomas.
We're seeing Matt Thomas. You're seeing topless Serge Ibaka. You're seeing Spicy P in the Rico Hines runs. Just good to see the boys.
Yeah. And those new jerseys are, it's about time.
The new old jerseys.
Look, if there's a way to get me to buy a basketball jersey, which I will never do, it's to put Kyle Lowry on a throwback Raptors jersey with a championship decal on it.
That's the new A+ jersey in the city.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry throwback Raptors
has to be
with like championship year.
Do you think people will get Kawhis with that?
No, because it's hard.
They shouldn't. I'm just wondering if they will.
I do see where you're going with that, but it's hard for me to reconcile wearing a jersey that the guy never put on.
Absolutely. No, I'm 100% there with you. I'm just wondering if people will. Because I feel like you'd have to
Some people might.
You'd have to customize them
to
do that, wouldn't you? Because I don't think they would make
Kawhi
not on the team jerseys. But
and also happening, our producers told us to say the word football on the air.
football.
But they're not in the room.
No.
So I have no thoughts about the NFL.
I have a fantasy team that I drafted.
How does it happen every year that I get dragged into playing fantasy football?
I've just been in the same league for so long that it wasn't even a question.
Same.
Like, it was the guy who runs my league being like, hey, send the money in.
But aren't you already friends with all those people?
Not really. I mean, kind of. I'm friends with them through fantasy.
Yeah, that's the case.
But like,
that is the damn case, isn't it?
It is weird. I know. I was actually with this the other day, like being Facebook friends with people who like I never see or literally never see, live in different cities, literally never see or speak to, and have never actually met in person.
Only to play in a league you don't really care about
for years.
For a sport you don't really like.
And I get like invested
upset about it, of course. How do we get roped into this?
The thing that's wrong with me in fantasy,
the giant machine of the NFL.
The thing about fantasy is like I don't follow or watch football.
Makes it very hard. I'm with you.
I have like the draft kit that I can follow to draft.
Correct.
But then I spend my week hunting the waiver wire for players that I've never heard of.
Watch.
Never watch.
I don't know how we get roped into this every year.
That being said, I don't play fantasy for other sports because I find it too much work.
See, isn't that crazy?
The sports I enjoy and follow.
The players that you would know.
Yeah.
And this, anyway. That's enough football.
I am in a fantasy baseball league. To say I play it
2019.
is a stretch.
I think might be gold to mine in baseless fantasy advice.
I like it. That could be a new segment.
Yeah, so have someone email us
update fantasy football advice every week.
But we digress. That's enough football for 2019.
The best part about fantasy is coming up with a pun for your team name.
See, I am not a fan of that.
Oh, really?
I am a fan of same team name every single year.
What is your team name?
Green Bull Packers.
Oh, okay.
It's a weed pun.
I get it.
In the league that I am in, most of the team names have been the same the entire time.
Ours used to be, and then the last couple of years, I think people got bored and we started making puns.
Anyway, that is already enough football for me. I'm done with that.
Yeah. We
start off with the first thing we mentioned off the top of this show, the sneaky fun, the sneaky watchable, but not very damn good at all. Toronto Blue Jays. Bo Bichette is up.
They're developing.
Yes. Bo Bichette is up, and he is better than I could have possibly imagined.
He's
so good.
So good. And not only good, but good in a way that's like you can tell it's a good that it doesn't worry me, sort of how when Brett Laurie showed up and was good, you were like, I could see this going away sometime.
Saw those comparisons floating around the other day.
Yeah. And like the numbers, like just on the surface are identical, which is fair. But like Bo just doesn't give a fuck.
He's been really, really fun.
And like he also plays that as a stupid phrase, and I hate that I'm using it. But he plays that hockey style of baseball that Canada baseball fans seem to love.
Had to.
Got the flow. He plays a rough and tumble attitude.
No, I think he makes some great points. For me, what makes Bo so fun is that he is entertaining even when he's not hitting.
Yes.
And when I look at Vladdy is great and he has fun every day and his at-bats are still...
Look, nothing's more fun than the Vlad home run.
Correct. But, when you look at great teams, we'll look at, for the lack of, we'll use the prime Red Sox with David Ortiz, right?
Okay.
Totally great. But they needed Dustin Pedroia, right? Exactly right. That people get used to that being the reaction about Bo Bichette.
Yeah. No, I could see it.
Right? You need that other guy that is like, he has a little bit of fuck you, and he's flashy in the field. And if it was against your team, you'd be like, I really don't like watching this.
The Nazem Kadri of...
Correct.
But I don't know why I keep laying it to hockey.
An aggressive hitter. It's just living in this city. Everything has to be, how is this about hockey?
I've annoyed myself twice now for my takes.
You'll get
We've
there.
Been here for like 5 minutes.
A little bit of rust. But it brings me to my point that I want to make about this team.
Okay.
And it's going to be, it's Bo Bichette centric. And it sort of hit me when he took Clayton Kershaw deep twice.
Mm-hmm.
I posted about it on the internet, as you do. And I was looking through, I believe the MLB account posted the video because it was like, dude, he just took a fucking Clayton Kershaw deep twice. That's absurd.
First rookie ever, I believe.
Yes. And the comments underneath was like Dodgers fans being like, scoreboard, right?
Right, because it was like 16-3 or something.
Right. But the response to that was Jays fans being like, I don't give a shit. And the message I want to get across right now, and this is going to seem silly, as Jays fans, remember to enjoy this part of it, where you don't care that they are going to get shit pumped most of the time, because you can take the joy in the other things, right?
Yeah, I like that. And like, yeah, it's like whose lines anyways? Points are made up and the score doesn't matter.
Exactly right. It's we're not going to take long to get to a point where that's not going to be enough. Very soon.
We hope. It's a good thing.
Exactly.
If we don't get
Exactly right.
And it's also, I had this thought a few weeks ago that dissipated extremely quickly.
It does that.
But I saw they were like, there was one day where they were only like 12 or 13 games below 500 for a minute. And I had the brief thought of like, there's 2 months left. They could get to 500. And then of course they lost like 7 straight after that. But it wasn't like, do you remember, I think it was 2 seasons ago when they just couldn't get to 500.
Oh God.
And it was a nightmare.
I was looking back through my 2017 team tweets. I lost it for a little bit there in 2017. I was not well about how bad that team was.
But it was like, it was also like that hunt for 500 was so painful, obviously for totally different reasons. But I had that 2-second thought of like, oh, they could get the 500. And then immediately being like, A, no, they can't. And B, who cares?
It doesn't matter.
There is as I said from the top, I've watched more Blue Jays baseball in the last 30 days than I have in the last 3 months.
Yes. Now, my message is not to be content with mediocrity, right?
No, but it's year 1, technically.
Correct. A year from now, I don't expect to feel the same way. But the rest of this year, I think you can take solace in Bo is fun to watch.
Do you really think that standings watch is going to matter next year?
I think not standings watch is going to matter, but there'll be less patience for, well, the kids look good, right?
Fair.
The next year it's going to be, well, which pitcher looks good, right?
Yeah.
Now we're just fine the fact that the pitchers exist. And
I guess
we'll get into
that later. With the kids hitting, that conversation sort of ends in April.
Because we didn't even expect.
Can they do it again? Yes. If they can't do it again, that's another conversation. And
I didn't even expect Bo to be playing in Major Leagues this year.
No.
Frankly.
I thought we'd see him in September.
Yeah.
For like a week.
Maybe they suppress him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I have been excited and he's watchable. Now.
There's something to be said on that point. There's something to be said about having the young prospect guy on your team.
Yes.
And I know we just went through this with Vlad to a
of course
like needle in the arm degree, but it was nice to have a prospect who even with this front office didn't give them any other choice.
That's correct.
It helps that there was no one on the field to like stop him.
Yes.
But
they made moves to get guys out of the way, right?
Yeah.
They got rid of Galvis. They got rid of Sogard.
It'd just be like, oh, this guy is so good. We have to have him on the team.
It is nice. Now, if an outfielder could do that, or 3 pitchers. But again, to my earlier point.
So my take about the Blue Jays.
When we talked about this, you mentioned a struggle you were having.
Yeah. So, and this ties into outfielders.
Beautiful.
So my struggle with this is, as I said, I've watched more games in the last little bit than I had earlier this season and frankly last season as well.
Nobody blames you for that.
But there's a disconnect right now about what it is to be a Jays fan, I think. Because it's hard to not be caught up in the optimism of Vlad and Bo, even Biggio to an extent, Nate Pearson in Buffalo. Like there's some cause for, if not optimism, at least the future isn't as bleak as it was maybe 4 months ago. And we were all talking about Vlad not playing on Victoria Day.
Totally.
But the team is still really fucking bad.
Correct.
And as we've said on this show before, Vlad and Bo and Biggio and Teoscar and Grichuk and Derek Fisher and Rowdy can all be awesome, and they still need like 13 pitchers.
That's right.
So it's hard to not get caught up in the hype of these kids, which, as you say, have made the team watchable.
Yes.
Unquestionably, they are fun and they are watchable. But it's hard to not get caught up in that and be like, oh, I've done it several times. Like, a couple of free agent ads and maybe next year, there's 2 wild cards now. Who knows? But like they're going to win like 72 games next year.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
It would be a marked improvement. Yeah.
So it's hard to, I think there's and I think the outfield's a great example of that because every couple days I start thinking, maybe we should extend Teoscar a little bit.
Yeah, say it out loud. Speak it into existence.
Maybe Gurriel when he's back, like, he looked pretty good before he got hurt.
I really want to believe in Gurriel. I really do.
But it's the same kind of idea to me.
Yes.
Where it's like, yeah, maybe, but
likely not.
And even if yes, that's not the team that's going to get us back to the 2015-2016 height.
Right.
So it's troubling, I would say. Not troubling because it's fun.
Yes.
And after the last year and a half or year and almost 2 seasons now of Blue Jays baseball, I will take fun over just the fucking dearth of anything to watch over the last 2 years.
Man, as you were speaking, all I could think of, how the fuck did we watch 2018? Like, what was there? They wouldn't even call Vlad up. That's absurd.
I was thinking about,
what were we doing with our time?
Every Labor Day,
I was unemployed.
Every Labor Day I go to a cottage, the same cottage every year.
Lovely stuff.
Last year, at that cottage, they traded Josh Donaldson for Julian Merriweather, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I remember being at a cottage and saying, oh, the Jays traded Donaldson, seeing the return and being like,
Mm-hmm.
This year, the thing that happened at the cottage was that Bo had a bunch of hits and Vlad hit a home run.
It's good stuff.
And the Donaldson trade is still really bad and getting worse by the day, but this is better.
Yes. I also have a similar but differently approached struggle between optimism and questioning that optimism. I'll tell you how I feel. I am very confident and very optimistic that this team can be built into an 83, 84 win team pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I have almost no doubt in that. What I worry about is the next step.
Do you also have that worry that Vlad and Bo will be sort of prime Delgado Vernon thing where it's they'll win and Nate Pearson will be Halliday. They'll win 82 games and then that'll be it.
Yeah, well, you know what it is, because we get very caught up in how great Vlad and Bo are, and they're very great.
Mm-hmm.
But the American League East is not. There's not a void of other teams also developing very good young players, plus being willing to spend whatever it takes. Gleyber Torres is 22.
The Yankees aren't even playing most of their team this year.
The Yankees are probably going to add Garrett Cole, I assume.
And even if they don't add, half the team's fucking been hurt since April.
So that's what worries me. I believe that they can add a pitcher here and there.
Giancarlo Stanton hasn't really taken a swing this year.
Exactly right. And the Red Sox are going to pick up Mookie again, and they're going to do what they just did 2 years ago, where they're bad, a little bad, then they win the World Series, then they're a little bad. That's my concern. Is I believe it's pretty easy to add to this core. You can look at and you can say, okay, we need a new first base DH type because Rowdy's probably a quadruple A guy. Smoke's not coming back. We can find a bat. That's not a problem. We can find a fourth outfielder. We can find enough.
Or second or third.
For sure. We can find enough pitching to get us as a plus team.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Not hard to do. Building a 500 baseball team in 2019 is not that
Especially because most of the baseball teams are trying not to do that.
The step one is try to do it. So I don't have any problem believing that they can win 84 games in a couple of years. It's going from 84 to 88 to 92 to 95 that I am starting to go, I don't know if that ever happens. And that's so far down the road of worry, but that's where my head goes.
To your point, so what we were talking about getting caught up in the fun of the kids is that, yes, the kids are great, but every conversation about this front office still applies.
That's right.
If yes, you're right. They can build an 82-win team. Will they is another question.
Right.
And even more so, if they build an 82-win team and that gets enough interest, enough business, whatever, will they take... Because the only way to go from 82-84 to 90-92 is to spend.
Got to be buying.
It's the only way.
It's the only way.
And so...
Maybe Pearson is a horse.
Even... You still need four. You need four more.
Absolutely right.
And so,
bad news for anybody who's banking on Trent Thornton and Jacob Wagaspan.
Yeah, the Blue Jays 2015 staff was great. They still had to go and get David Price to be genuinely good.
Exactly right. Couldn't agree more. Now, speaking of the front office and making moves, last time we spoke, they had just traded Marcus Stroman.
Yes.
With a month of hindsight, we now have 6 starts of Stroman in the Mets organization, an ERA of about 5.5. Aaron Sanchez has pitched about the same amount for the Astros. He's part of a combined no-hitter his first game. His ERA is...
that's the only thing people are going to remember, too.
That's right. Stupid. Which is ridiculous because
he's been bad.
You could also do the day he got hurt and the day Biagini got sent down, Fisher went deep. You could do that if you wanted to, but you only remember the first one. Sanchez, part of a combined no-hitter, 4.82 ERA and an injury. Shocking. And Joe Biagini is not dead. Good for him. On the other end of it, Derek Fisher, 185, 284, 91 OPS plus, 5 home runs. The prospects
for Stroman. It really
feels
like it's more than 5 for some reason.
because you hear about all of them, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
The Stroman prospects. Anthony Kay has been called up. He will pitch for the Blue Jays this month. And Simeon Woods Richardson at 18 years old, a 2.54 ERA at high A ball. Jake, has your opinion of the trade deadline changed in the last month?
Sort of.
Okay.
The Sanchez-Biagini trade looks better than it did at first blush.
Okay.
For sure. A lot of that, K being called up, I don't care. They have to call up.
That's right.
Somebody.
And he was going to be a Rule 5 guy if they didn't put him on the 40 man. So, agreed.
Woods Richardson, I don't know enough about high A ball.
We are not in the business of projecting 18-year-olds.
No. But to your point you made before we came in here, he is, as we've heard, climbing up the top 100 ranking.
Helium.
And
he's got helium.
Sorry, this was the Stroh prospects, not the Sanchez-Biagini trade.
Yes.
I've got this backwards. That makes more sense. Yes. So if Woods Richardson is climbing up the prospects, we said, or I said, on this show, how do you trade Marcus Stroman for not top 100 guy? You asked me before, I don't know if it was actually on the show, or you just asked me this when we were talking about it.
I can't remember either.
But you asked me if next week Woods Richardson was in the top 100, would it make a difference? And the answer is yes.
Okay.
But I still have a but with this trade.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem necessarily if Stroman's throwing up, 4.5 ERAs and looking like he is in 6 starts, which again, not a huge sample, but
also the Mets have a terrible defensive infield.
Yes, and Stroman's whole thing is he needs a defense behind him.
That's right.
But if Woods Richardson is sort of climbing up, it looks better. I still don't think they should have made the trade. And that's not because of the return. It's just that they didn't need to. And we just spent 15 minutes talking about how to build your team going forward. And I think all the points we made when the trade happened about you need pitching, and if only there was like a guy who could be a 1-2 starter in the league behind in front of a good defense existed. Like, even if Woods Richardson turns out to be a fucking stud and he's awesome, that's great. But the trade's still really dumb because they trade him for the wrong reasons, and that will never not be true.
That's valid.
The other side of this, the Sanchez-Biagini trade, who cares?
Never watching them again has been such great peace for me.
And Derek Fisher is
not great.
Pretty bad. And him getting hit in the face with a baseball the day they threw a combined no-hitter.
Not what you want.
Not winning, as usual, Blue Jays not winning the optics battles. But he's bad. So are Sanchez and Biagini.
That's right.
They're not good.
It isn't a stretch to say that there's a chance Sanchez and Biagini could have got non-tendered.
No. The fact they got even... You mentioned Eric Sogard.
Right.
2 fucking AA ballers came through as the players to be named later last week. The fact they got anything for Eric Sogard is great. I kind of feel the same about Biagini and Sanchez. And I get that the former opinion of Aaron Sanchez, it's hard to sort of
for sure
grapple with that. I get that entirely. And it's very easy to sort of trick yourself to be like, well, he does this, and this. He can put it together because he's Aaron Sanchez. But as you've said before, we're not convinced Aaron Sanchez was ever good.
That's right. And I'm glad that the Astros fixed him thing is gone because they did not fix it.
That's the other thing. To your point about Stroman needing a defense, the Astros are so fucking good.
Yeah.
And both these guys are trash for them.
It's true. So we look forward to building. Here's some names. I'm going to throw some names at you. These are free agents.
Yelling a lot today.
You're doing great. You're projecting.
Yeah, it's the new mics. They make me.
And you're fired up with the Blue Jays. Here's some free agent names. I omitted Wheeler and Garrett Cole because they're not coming. I'm gonna throw some names out. You tell me who you think is. You go. I can talk myself into that. Michael Wacha, Pineda, Hamels, Roark, Porcello. Chris Archer might get his option denied. Jake Arrieta, probably not, but maybe. Alex Wood, Jake Odorizzi, Matt Moore, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So from the names you listed, immediately you have to cross off everyone who would be a notable ad.
That's correct.
Because it's not going to happen. So Waka's not going to happen.
So I feel like he's the kind of guy they were going to target though.
See, I think that's Alex Wood.
Reclamation project. I have talked myself into Alex Wood, sadly, who's been terrible this year.
Yeah. I think I could see Alex Wood. I want to say I could see them making a run at someone like Archer just because he's a guy who was a stud. His values dropped. It just seems like their kind of deal.
There is the question,
but too much money.
Does Stroman sort of eliminate Archer? Because they're boys.
Maybe.
Would he ever become a Blue Jay after what they just did to Stroman?
That's very fair.
Jake Odorizzi is probably going to cost too much, but I would love to see them throw some money at Jake Odorizzi.
I would like that.
Odorizzi and Wood are the two to me.
Yeah, Arrieta's not going to happen. Porcello's not going to happen.
Matt Moore, maybe?
Matt Moore, maybe Hamels, just because he's just so at the end.
Old guys. It's
old guys and reclamation projects,
yes,
for sure.
They're going to try to find another match maker, only one that plays more than 6 games. For outfielders, I don't think they're going to add an outfielder. I'll say that. They're going to let the competition happen again next year. But you have Marcelo Zuna, Yasiel Puig, Eric Thames, Adam Eaton, Nick Castellanos, Avisail Garcia, and Starling Marte.
Look, if there was ever a guy...
Just circle it right now. Just say Eric Thames. Eric Thames.
That's not even where I was going, but also yes. Look, obviously I would love it if they brought Thames back.
Yes.
Everyone would love it if that happened. That means it's probably not going to happen because that's not how this works. That being said, this front office taking, I don't know if a flyer is the right word because you have to throw some money at him, but a guy like Starling Marte, who has all the talent in the world, but fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
You get him at a reduced rate. I mean, I would love to see Starling Marte here.
Gutsy. I like that.
He's not, I don't think it's going to happen because I agree with you. I don't think they're adding an outfielder. But I would, with this current list that you just gave me, I would be happy with any of them except Eaton.
Okay. And first base DH, Jose Abreu, Evan Encarnacion, Justin Smoke, Matt Adams, and Nelson Cruz. Boy, if they got Nelson Cruz.
That would be.
They're not going to.
They're not.
And they're not bringing back Encarnacion. And they're not getting Jose Abreu. So I don't know why I wrote those guys' names down. But that's sort of the crop you're looking at. I would say this. I would expect them to deal from their trove of fringe outfielders and try to hit sort of a reverse Derek Fisher trade, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Trade a Derek Fisher type for a Sanchez type and hope that you can turn the guys around.
I think that...
Despite there being no evidence that they're turning around a pitcher at any point in the last 10 years.
I think that if you look at this list
mm-hmm.
and then you think about this front office, whoever they add will not be on any of these lists.
Ouch.
And
it can't get much worse than this list for guys who...
Yeah, and the last 2 years have been Aledmus Diaz
right.
and Yohannes Solarte and Freddie Galvis. And the question is, and it's true, it's a valid question, the Sogard Galvis-esque contracts, which are just exist to play and then be traded away for parts.
Mm-hmm.
Can you still do that when those guys that they were holding the spots for are now playing?
I think what I would look for them to do is to look for a 2018 Blue Jays out there, a Cincinnati Reds, if you will, a team that went for it and now the window is closed.
Joey Votto,
Anthony Desclafini or something like that. You know what I mean?
Joey Votto.
Joey Votto has to waive his 10-5 and want to come here.
You think he would?
It depends. Probably not. Maybe. We move on. That's your Blue Jays preview. That's how we feel with the Jays.
At least there will be something to talk about with the Blue Jays throughout the season where no one cares.
Amen, baby. Bianca Andreescu plays tonight. We are recording this on Wednesday.
She plays in
any minute now.
20 minutes.
We had it first. Kaitlyn McGrath.
Yeah.
Broke through. She has claimed the spotlight. She is Canada's next tennis sensation. Dennis and Felix, you can sit down.
Yeah.
Because you are unable to break through in the way that Bianca Andreescu has broken through. She won at Indian Wells. She, quote unquote, won, according to Jake, at Toronto.
I don't like that. That's my take that's out there now. I don't even believe it.
It's how you started the show.
I know. I don't even know why I did
Someone who turned it off 5 minutes in was like, Jake really hates Bianca Andreescu for some reason.
Yeah, no reason.
And now she is at minimum in the quarterfinal of the U.S. Open. She could be in the semis by the time this comes out.
That's true.
Elise Mertens stands in her way. Started out the year around 150-ish, and now she will almost definitely be a top 10 player. Mercy, she is fun to watch.
It's crazy. And it's like, I feel like she's in a way, the culmination of like the last 5-ish years of Tennis Canada.
Mm-hmm.
We've just been looking for that next star. And it was Milos, then it was, for a minute, it was Pospisil, then it was Dennis, then it was Felix. And now it's like, okay, we found it. We should have been looking not in the men the whole time.
For sure. She is a lot of fun to watch.
She is. She hits the ball really hard.
Her forehand is electric, and she is a battler. She plays long sets. She plays long points. I think that is a little bit of a caution where maybe she lets people back into matches she shouldn't.
Though that's also part of her appeal, because then she plays these long sets and hits these silly shots and whatnot.
And here's the thing I can't really back up, but I have been noticing, and Melissa has noticed this as well. She feels a little disingenuous when she talks sometimes, which is hard to listen. A teenager talking. Period.
They're always kind of.
There's always like what's really going on here, but there's like an attitude and sort of a fuck you to her on-court game that when she is doing the like I'm gonna give Serena Williams life advice, you're like, okay, 19-year-old.
That was nice. It was kind of.
Hey, Serena Williams, I know what you're going through. Oh, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love it.
No. I take your point.
I love that. She's awesome. Bianca is awesome.
I guess my only check on that is like if Serena felt it was just genuine, I feel like Serena would have called her out. Of course. Because it's Serena.
But that's not worth it. I mean, Angelique Kerber did call her a drama queen.
That's true.
She comes out bandaged up with her thigh and her knee all bandaged up, hobbling.
Tennis is hard. I'd be bandaged up too.
I played tennis recently. It is impossible.
It's so hard. You know how hard serving is?
Here's the thing that blows to jump around a little bit, but playing tennis, even at the lowest level recreational recently, you realize that even getting to the shots people are hitting at you is absurd. To get to it and return it with your own like intentions is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Really puts colors that whole I take a point off Serena discussion.
Like for sure. Pick up a racket and try to beat your friend. Forget Serena Williams.
I saw a video on Instagram of my friend who plays amateur tennis, and it's like he's good.
Yeah.
But like it's amateur, like he's not competing for any spot, and it's like I couldn't do that if like on any day.
Yes,
this is hard.
There are some concerns. I have some concerns with Bianca.
I feel like the double faults against Townsend kind of worried me.
The service game comes and goes. She doesn't seem to, when she really needs to, dominate, which is hard to say. And a lot of injuries for a 19-year-old.
Yeah, but I wonder if that's the sport.
It
like
is sort of.
I wonder if tennis, I don't know enough about this, and like
sure.
It's a genuine question. Like
it's a lot of wear.
Is everyone hurt all the time in tennis? Because it kind of feels like
I think you sort of have to be.
Yeah.
It's a lot of wear. But she's been dominating hard court. She's like something like 42-4 in 2019. Most of her losses have been her pulling out because she's been hurt.
Right.
Really exciting. Looking like a future star in the making.
I don't know if the bracket shapes out that way, but I really would love to see a Serena Bianca
full
tilt in the U.S. Open
and revenge in U.S. after Canada. It would be really great theater, and I think it's possible. Before the tournament, I picked her to win.
Really?
I did.
Wow.
She's rolling, man.
I just always pick Serena because
she doesn't lose. She doesn't lose on the hard court. Boy.
I guess the question, this is always the question for tennis, is, and I certainly don't know.
Sure.
But like, is she a flash in the pan?
Is
she?
It's hard.
It's hard to be good at tennis for a long time.
It's the men's side. The big three have spoiled us, and Serena as well.
Yeah,
those four people have spoiled us.
But like,
into thinking that everyone plays into their 30s.
Look at the U.S. Open this year.
That's right.
First round was Serena absolutely waxing the court with Maria Sharapova, who was supposed to be the next big thing and was for like a minute.
She's cheating.
Well, yeah, but but you know what I mean? Like that's the norm. The norm is you're good for like 2 years and you disappear.
I will say I love the way we rally around our tennis stars.
It is kind of nice.
Like when Bianca is on, that's what people are talking about.
Yeah.
When Dennis and Felix were in there, bursting onto the scene, that's what people are talking about.
I think that
I love Canadian tennis.
I think Tennis Canada has done a really good job at letting the fans get to know their stars. And I think tennis is easy to do that in because it's individual and you see them.
There's nowhere to hide.
There's so much emotion constantly on the court. But I do think that they market their stars very well, and they make sure they bring everyone on the journey with them, I would say.
Milos and Jeannie crawled so that Bianca could fly.
I didn't even remember Jeannie.
She was
I know.
Junior champion.
This is my point.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely right. Speaking of Canada and the exact opposite of Canadian tennis. Canada basketball. Oh man. Woof. What a shit show.
That didn't go well.
How did this I was so optimistic. I couldn't believe how stacked they were. Like if you go back and listen to our Alex Wong podcast, you should, because he was really good about the Jays. We were just like 25 minutes straight of being fucking dead wrong about Canada basketball.
Because there is as we have learned, and as the US is learning, there is a difference between having a bunch of good players and them actually playing for your team.
But like America's probably still going to do well.
Yeah, because they have so many more good players. That's the thing.
That was the thing, though,
We have,
for
like,
us. Was like there's like 15 guys.
Yeah.
5 of them could not come. And then 14 of them didn't come.
Yeah.
So how do you change that? I know we're not pros, but like what does it take? Because Gasol is playing for Spain. Giannis is playing for Greece.
I think 2 things. I think that
Jonas is playing for Lithuania.
Well, of course. That's what he does.
All the Australians are there.
I think that Canada, as a basketball nation, has grown. Canada and the US, I think, have grown up with basketball very similarly.
Okay.
Maybe it's a little newer in Canada, but I think it's a similar.
A Canadian invented basketball. It's a must say. I'm sorry. It's a must say. Newer in Canada. Sorry, I had to. It's a must. It's a must.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Fucking quit. But I think international basketball, the international game holds a weight. And I think that international basketball for the US only holds a weight occasionally. Obviously the Dream Team.
That's true.
Vince jumping over the French guy. Though LeBron deciding to go, like LeBron, KD, all those guys. Like you need that to, as you're saying this year, no one cares. To answer your question about what has to happen for the Canadians to go, and I understand that this can't happen without them going now.
Yes.
It has to be the Olympics.
But they have to.
I know. But like, there's not the sort of glitz of, the FIBA internationals.
I think.
Like the Dream Team happened at the Olympics.
Correct.
And that's
a good point.
That's the pinnacle now. That is the peak of international basketball.
It's got to be money as well. There has to be money in it. There has to be sponsorship dollars or something like that, because I'll ask this, are we hypocrites? Because we are pro-labor, we are anti-billionaire, and yet here we are saying these guys whose whole lives is making money for their teams should go play for free because we're from the same place as they are.
Yes, but.
Yes.
Is what I would say. Yes, we are hypocrites for it, because you're absolute.
Loudly.
Yes, face value, 100%. But I think there's a difference between professional NBA players not being paid to go play for their country and the NCAA not paying these guys at all. Like Jamal Murray not being paid to play for Canada basketball is not hurting his bottom line.
He's still getting paid, correct. I agree.
Which is not to say that like, he makes money, so it's fine. Because that's also not true.
Right. I know what you mean.
But like, there's a big difference between that and the NCAA, is what I think. That being said, there is a big difference between that and the NCAA. Jamal Murray's time is probably more valuable.
People watch NCAA, frankly.
Yeah. Also true.
Then it's sort of a follow-up question is, did we as fans make this out to be more than it is? And is part of that because it happened like right after the Raptors? If the Raptors were done for months, would we even really care that much?
Yeah, I think so about the Raptors one, because Canada having basketball talent now has kind of been hyped for the last little bit.
This is the golden generation, we've been told.
I also think, and I just had this thought about how we make people care and players care, time zones. If this tournament was in Canada,
I agree.
I bet it would be different.
I think that's the one thing that I haven't heard a lot of. I don't know that like going to the other side of the world for the shot to play in China, like, is a huge draw for these guys who play in the NBA.
Yeah.
I think, when you're going to America, you're playing in America in the Olympics, that's a different appeal than playing in China in the summer when you are not being paid.
Yeah, I think that like if somewhere in North America were to host the Olympics, or not in the Olympics, host the FIBAs.
Even Brazil, even like Southern America.
I think
it's too far away.
I think it'd be different.
Yeah.
But as we were saying, there's a difference between like Jamal Murray is a NBA superstar. Like if he got hurt in one of these games, that's his team's season.
Mm-hmm.
Which like, even if it's like the Dream Team or whatever, the international basketball just doesn't matter more than the NBA.
That's right.
It just doesn't. And so I get why guys like that aren't interested in going. It makes sense to me.
I wish they would, though.
I wish they would too. Or
I wish it didn't have to make sense.
Or it's just a patience thing where Canada can get to the point like the United States where they have more than 15 guys. And so if 14 guys, it's what we were saying with Alex Wong, which was like, if 5 of those guys don't go, they're still fine. Canada basketball needs to get to the point where if 14 of those guys don't go, they're still fine. Or if 20 of those guys don't go, they're still fine. And that's just not where we are yet. Like I feel like this was a rare, non-media driven hype. I think it was fans. And I think everyone's a little prematurely excited because yes, we do have 15 or so excellent basketball players that are Canadian, but we only have 15.
Adding Nick Nurse was a bit of a tease as well.
That didn't help. That definitely didn't help.
Well, I think
he played boxing one though.
Well, what are you going to do? That's it. That was great. I think you are pretty close to right on the mark there.
Yeah. Because time zones are bullshit. That's the thing.
Time zones are bullshit. No argument here. And that is the sort of conversation that leads us perfectly into the mailbag and
new segments.
3 brand new segments on the way right after this. Your ears do not deceive you. That was an ad.
Yeah.
Look at us.
We have them now.
We no longer need to beg for sponsorship.
We're still gonna.
Because Clay and Sean did a great job getting us a sponsorship.
I'm still gonna beg.
I think there'll be different ads every time. I
don't know what they were today.
They've explained it to us enough times for us to admit that we don't listen to them when they talk about it.
Correct.
Cool.
I'm excited to maybe learn what the ad is because sometimes I don't listen to our show. So.
I hope I don't disagree with the tenor of the ad that just played.
I mean, I feel like there's a much higher chance of the ads disagreeing with the tenor of the show.
Anyway, as promised, 3 new segments on the way. The first new segment is Song of the Week. Jake, take it away.
So Song of the Week, pretty self-explanatory. Song I like this week. Song I'm gonna like this week is it's called "Just Like Ringing a Bell" by Titus Andronicus, and I like it purely for the fact I listened to it this morning and it's stuck in my head. And it's a great song, and they're playing a show in October, and I'm very excited because they're great.
Now, pardon me for being obtuse.
Do it.
Is it a new Titus Andronicus song?
It is. They put out a new album in June, sometime this summer, called An Obelisk. It's great.
An Obelisk. Awesome.
It's not... I like my Titus Andronicus big and theatrical. I like their 1.5 hour long punk rock operas. But this is just a nice little fun rock album. And I'm excited for them to play a show here again because I very much like them. They're one of my favorite bands. And I'm excited to see Chris Wilson drum because he rules. And he was in Ted Leo's band. And the Pharmacists rule.
Bang. Your second new segment is Match of the Week. I'm going to pick a wrestling match from the last little bit that I think we should talk about. My pick is the Cracker Barrel Clash from All Out.
Is this a bowl game? What is this?
It was, I had a lot of things, because this is the first one I had a lot I could pick from to think of.
I'll save a minute. I have a wrestling question for you.
I can't wait. The Cracker Barrel Clash was from All Out. It was like, usually I'm not one for goofy, like hardcore wrestling.
Okay.
But this had a guy getting thumbtacks put into his mouth and then his mouth taped shut. A guy.
What?
Yeah. A guy jumped off a turnbuckle doing a like skateboard ollie. The skateboard was covered in thumbtacks. He ollied onto the back of somebody else. A guy jumped off the turnbuckle with a literal Cracker Barrel, the restaurant.
Yeah, no, I got you.
He jumped off it on his back and landed on the stairs on the outside of the ring, exploding the barrel, and ended with a choke slam through a barrel. That is just a sniff of the Cracker Barrel Clash from All Out.
Forgive me for saying so.
Please.
That sounds stupid.
It was really dumb, but it's a lot of really painful looking fun. My other pick was going to be Orange Cassidy debuting in AEW because it was fucking awesome. That brings us to our third new segment, the one that I am most excited about.
That you came up with literally this morning.
This segment is called Does This Freak You Out? Jake, I'll go first this week because you don't have one ready.
Yeah.
Next week, maybe you do one.
Yeah, I like that. We'll go back and forth.
Does it freak you out that?
Oh, yeah, I mean, probably.
When a T-Rex was alive, you probably saw this tweet. When a T-Rex was alive, all Stegosaurus were already fossils. A T-Rex is closer in time to an iPad than to a Stegosaurus.
Well, that sucks ass, is what I'm going to say. Yeah, that freaks me out.
Yes.
Yes.
That's how old Stegosaurus are and how old Tyrannosaurus Rex are.
I feel like Jurassic Park really did a number in our generation for dinosaurs, but like we have no frame of anything.
They're all just dinosaurs.
They're all
to
just
us.
dinosaurs.
Can you even comprehend how long ago that would have to be?
No, because
we're talking trillions of years.
I feel like time and money both have a certain threshold where you hit it and it loses all meaning.
I agree with you. Anything over 1 million becomes unfathomable.
Yeah. Like this idea of someone's like, even like not that much more than 1 million.
Correct.
Like 1.5 million
right.
is like both for time, especially for time.
Yes.
Like I am 31 years old, freshly 31 when we were off on the break.
Yes.
31 years to me is a literal eternity.
That's right. That's a lifetime.
Yeah. 1 million years is so many 31s.
It is unbelievable. I think that one of the biggest, like the hardest to comprehend things for people is the difference between million and billion. Because they come.
Yeah, but 1 billion is so much more than 1 million.
It's so many millions. And 1 million is so much.
It's like, what is it? Like 10 million? No, that's wrong. I can't do that.
It's like 1,000 millions.
1,000. That's, yeah.
Which is unbelievable. Anyway.
It's less than I thought it was, I guess. But
and does this freak you out?
The next segment we do should just be me trying to do math.
It does freak you out though, right?
Yeah,
it freaked me out.
Of course.
I couldn't.
Anything that makes me think about the sort of like vastness of things freaks me out. When we were at the cottage this weekend, just looking at stars in nature and just seeing how many of them there are, terrifying. Yeah. Fucking terrifying. There's too many of them. We should get rid of some. And then the idea that to this point of time, most of the stars we see are already dead.
Yeah.
And that hasn't reached us yet.
And they're forever away.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't recommend thinking about what the lake you were looking at would look like without water in it. You'd be like, holy shit, there's just a huge like hole. 20 feet deep, right in front of me for no reason.
Yeah.
I love looking at lakes.
All right.
And now,
for sure.
Time for the mailbag. First question comes from Blake. A little bit of the bubbly. I just wanted to say that on the air. Sorry.
Okay.
Not a question.
Thanks, Blake.
I love fucking saying a little bit of the bubbly. First question.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Before we get into this, I want to ask my wrestling question.
Please, we're here.
I scrolled very briefly by a headline. Some guy in New Japan almost died or something. They let him wrestle anyway.
Yeah.
What was that?
I didn't. It was not of one of the majors, so I didn't get as much detail as I could on that.
Okay.
But someone almost died and then continued fighting.
Okay.
That's what they do.
Is he okay?
Probably.
All right.
He didn't die, so
okay. So
what do you want?
That's really what I meant. Is he okay?
First real question. Comes from Skeleton Pop-Tart. At Skeleton Pop-Tart.
That's a good name.
If you wake up tomorrow and you could be unbelievably great at any sport, which would you choose?
So I have two. First, I have a question.
Okay.
For us to determine this conversation. What is really great?
I think you are a all-star perennially.
In the professional.
Highest level you are great at the sport.
Okay.
You are an all-star level player.
Okay. So I have two trains of thoughts with this.
Okay.
My first reaction is for it to. Okay. My first reaction is really stupid, and
Please.
I'm going to go with it. So my first reaction is to pick a sport that I'm already okay at. Because I know what it's like to be good at that, and I like playing it.
This is our regular schedule. Jake is good at softball.
Yes. Or dodgeball, if we're going there.
Oh, you wouldn't want dodgeball.
But would you? Because wouldn't it be fun to impress the people that are your peers?
No.
Because that's where my brain goes, because I'm like self-conscious and weird.
You'd make better peers.
Would they be better, though?
Sure.
I don't know.
Rich people friends.
Yeah, I guess.
They'd also be rich.
Anyway, the real question is, do you want it to be something that you already play, or do you want it to be something that you've never, like, if all of a sudden I could dunk, like, and are we breaking the laws of physics here, or would I just be a really great 3-point shooter in basketball?
I don't think we can go to the point that you would be able to dunk uncontrollably.
So there's no,
maybe.
So then that's my point.
Maybe similar to Nate Robinson, you have the capability to dunk, but it wouldn't be what your game is built on.
But again, then if it's Nate Robinson,
that's up to you though.
Is it though? Because if we're saying really great,
I see what you're saying.
But we're operating under the parameters of reality.
Right.
I'm still 5'5". I'm gonna get fucking smoked in the NBA.
Right.
So, is it just choosing a sport that you can still play? You know what I mean?
You may have changed my answer. Because I was like, no doubt basketball.
Right, of course.
Because like I can't think of anything more fun in the current landscape of sports than to be an NBA superstar.
100%.
Like it's the easiest celebrity. The 15th guy on the Raptors is a celebrity. Like Matt Thomas, we're like, oh, Matt Thomas fucking rules.
100%.
Literally never seen him in my life.
It's the coolest sport.
Like hitting threes effortlessly would feel so cool. The money is great. I think it's probably basketball, but you've sort of swayed me a little bit.
But you're also tall-ish.
I'm sick. I would not be NBA tall. I would be a point guard at best.
Yeah, but if you were...
I'm smaller than Fred VanVleet.
But if you're a perennial all-star point guard, that's different than being 5'5".
Correct. But your game would not... Anyway, I see what you're saying.
But physically, that's not possible. I think my answer is tennis regardless.
Wow. That's a physical toll.
But it's individual glory. And you can be so rich playing tennis. Oh my God.
That's true. The easiest one's probably golf.
Yeah.
I think
soccer would also be interesting.
My first instinct was basketball, but I also think like when you enter the size thing, how sick would it be to like hit a major league home run? That's got to be the greatest.
Yeah.
There's just like no doubt. Major league fastball, 96, and you're like, it's nothing for me.
And it looks so cool.
Oh, baby. You just trot it out. But the problem with baseball is it's so much. It's 162 games.
Yeah.
You're playing every day for like 8 months.
And no one gives a shit about you.
That's right. I think it's still basketball for me. I would love to be like a undersized shooting point
Now
guard.
that I'm thinking about it, I might be going soccer.
Wow.
It's the most popular sport.
It is international
If you're
fandom.
sick as hell at soccer, you're like, everyone knows you.
You're going worldwide.
Yeah.
Gutsy. Soccer's not bad. Football, as they say.
Yeah.
Bruv. That's the thing that happened while we were away. Soccer started.
It did.
Or something. A question from @ThrowingSmoke.
Aw.
It says, is the U.S. Open the best tennis Grand Slam? As a follow-up, rank the Grand Slams.
No.
Let's
It
hear
is not. I'm going...
Grass court. I know you are.
I was going to, but they changed the rule.
You're not going to say French.
Wimbledon was the best
Yeah.
when the games could just keep going forever.
Yeah.
Until they changed that, Wimbledon was the best. I might be going French.
Wow.
I like it in the same way I like weird baseball parks.
Okay.
I like that there's just, in a sport like tennis, which is so regimented and just one-on-one always, I like that there's a major that's just like, this one's different.
It's always
And it's
Nadal,
harder.
though. It's always
I
Nadal.
know. That's the distinct. I think I'm going for French.
French won.
Wimbledon with an asterisk because it's way better when they could let games keep going.
Okay.
Then the US, then the Australian.
I must say that I put U.S. Open number 1.
Really?
Most of my favorite tennis memories are U.S. Open memories. Andy
Mine are
Roddick's big deep run. I love that the matches are on in prime time in our location.
Yes, that does help.
I love watching at night under the lights. I love hard court season. I feel like it's a great equalizer. I feel like you get a great variance of people who go on runs in the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
The All England Tennis Club is number 2. Wimbledon is...
I feel bad for the Australian because I don't really watch it. It's on it.
We're not going to get up and watch the Australian Open.
No.
Like, it needs to be... It would need to be Bianca in the final. And even then, I might tape it.
Yeah.
PVR, tape it. It would need to be like a player that I love. Or like if we knew it was the last ever Roger against Rafa.
Yeah, it needs to be something.
Super.
For sure.
I'm not watching early round Aussie Open.
No chance. So sorry, what's your order?
My order is U.S. Open, Wimbledon, French, Aussie. No offense to the Aussies, because it is the start of the sporting year.
Yeah.
Here's a great question. From @Platitude that on the surface
Platitude?
sounds like
That's so good.
I've
my
gotten
God.
into the spirit of saying the people's names as they give us questions because they deserve it. Which team will win the most games next season? The Toronto Raptors or the Toronto Maple Leafs? On surface, this seems obvious. The more you think about it, the harder it becomes. The Raptors won 58 games last year.
Here's the thing.
How many games do you think the Raptors will win?
I feel like regardless, the answer is the Leafs.
Wow.
Because the Raptors are not going to win 58 games this year.
Okay.
They might win 53. I think it's probably about where I have them.
Mm-hmm.
The Leafs are different because their season stops mattering halfway through.
Okay.
If they are in a race for position.
I will say this: the Maple Leafs won 46 games last year.
How does that include over? Oh yes, it doesn't. I guess that is there.
This is where basketball probably gets the edge, is the overtime.
Overtime, that's true.
It's the ties.
Shit, that's true.
Basically, do you think the Maple Leafs winning 50 games in the NHL is not common?
How many did Tampa win last year? Like 62 or something? Bullshit like that?
A great question. I will look that up. But I think it's still the Raptors, because you have to win a Tampa won 62, but they were the only team. Only one other team won 50, and it was Calgary. Winning 50 games.
That's wild.
Winning 50 games in the NHL was not easy. The league is so. Every team is about as good as the other team, except for Tampa last year.
No one won 50 games other than Calgary?
You know the NHL, man. Every team wins like 40 something.
I guess like in my brain is so wired that just like points are two, no matter what. And I forget about the overtime loss. I'm like, oh, there's teams with 100 points. Huh.
9 teams had 100 points last year.
Huh. I guess it is the Raptors then.
It's the Raptors. But yeah, unless you're saying the Leafs are like a 120-point team.
Which maybe.
Which they might not be. I think it's the Raptors by a hair. I think it's Raptors like, oh boy. Here's the thing, right? Well, I mean, they're going to win. 53?
52? 52. That's what? 52 and...
Pascal Siakam is your number
52 and 30? Is that
Pascal Siakam is the number one option on a 52-win team.
Oh, it's too early to ruin our Raptors optimism.
But the Maple Leafs had...
They won what last year? 58?
Yes, and the Maple Leafs won 46. It's 12 points. It's 12 wins. People are listening to this screaming at us right now. Saying it's obviously the Raptors, you idiots.
Here's the thing. The Raptors aren't going to drop the 12 wins, but the Leafs might gain a couple. And is that enough?
It could be 6-6. It could be 8-4.
Leafs won 47 last year?
46.
46.
They went 46, 28, and 8.
I'm saying right now that I'm sure I will change this prediction by the time we get to our prediction shows.
The Maple Leafs got points in 54 games, right? 8 overtime losses.
The Raptors are winning 52. The Leafs are winning 50.
Wow. I think Raptors as well, but close. Here's a great question. This is a
top question.
This is one of the best questions we've gotten in some time. The lip sync for your life battle. Is it, let me just get the specific wording here. Lip sync for your life battle. Is it a fair way to determine Drag Race champion? Or does it diminish the Queen's season-long performance? Is it basically the baseball playoffs? So
the question is this referring to it every episode or just the finale?
I saw championship.
Okay. So this is just the final 4.
Yes.
I love it, personally.
The tournament to end?
Yes. Because I found that the old way of doing it, where they just sort of like shoot a music video and then it's just like an arbitrary pick, even though it's not arbitrary, is just less fun. And I like sort of having the lip sync equalizer because it gives us great moments and it gives us great queens.
Okay.
Like Sasha Velour would not have won season 9 without her lip sync, which is fucking amazing.
Right.
And so it gave us that moment and it gives you that. I think there's something to be, again, maybe this depends on the season. We just haven't had this yet since the sort of championship lip sync's been put in. Like, I think if you look back to like season 6,
okay,
where Bianca just kind of ran all over everybody, if there had been a battle there and she had lost, I think then it could feel a little cheap. But as it's been there hasn't been one of those like I'm better than everyone,
right,
in a while.
Because here's the thing,
like if Bob had lost in a lip sync thing, right, which like he wouldn't have, but like
here's the thing that for me gives me pause is someone like Cameron Michaels,
who could have.
Well, at a certain point, is the fact that she's out lip syncing other people. Why does that outweigh that she's been in the bottom 4 weeks in a row?
So this is my.
Shouldn't it be cumulative, where eventually it's like you lip synced your ass off, but it's your 4th straight week in the bottom?
So this is my problem with it during the season and not necessarily the championship.
Right. It shouldn't be the be-all end-all of whether they go home or not.
Yes, and I don't think it is.
Right. It's last chance to impress me. It's not win or lose.
Yeah, and I do think there's like a amount of let's call it producer fuckery involved with it, where it's like
absolutely.
There's a lot of times where someone wins a lip sync and still goes home.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I was surprised that Cameron Michaels went as far as she did.
Me too. I was surprised that a lot of that Final 4 went as far as they did. And by a lot, I mean half.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Great mailbag.
Yeah.
Great questions. People really brought it.
Well, everyone had some weeks to recover.
We have great listeners. The fact is we have great listeners.
The fact we have any listeners is amazing.
That's true. We will be back with one more thing we have to do.
You know what it is.
We have to answer the only question worth asking on this show, and that's, are we sad or not sad? We will figure it out after this. And we're back. Another little ad break.
Yeah, that was an ad.
So no more begging about the segment. We just got to go into it. Too bad, eh?
Yeah.
Now what are we going to complain about? We'll figure it out.
Literally everything else.
Jake, the question is this week, are you sad or not sad?
I'm not sad.
Not sad.
I feel kind of bad about it. And I'll explain why.
Here we go.
It's a little different than we usually get into on this this part of the show.
Oh, boy.
We're going to politics corner for a minute.
Uh-oh.
No, it's fine. I'm doing a not sad because of the vote yesterday that fucked Boris Johnson really badly in the UK. And the reason I'm not sad about this, and the reason I feel bad about it, is because I understand that this next segment is going to be from the white privilege corner. So I'm just going to put that caveat there.
That's what we do.
Put that little, we have a video now, you can put that in the
You're very good
corner.
at acknowledging it.
It feels like a very, very, very long time that a terrible person who holds public office ate shit publicly. I mean, like a actual vote way, not like just every fucking day that exists. And it gave me, in my sort of protected, not fighting everyday life, a nice little, like, it's just nice to see because it feels like it's been forever, whether it was, Doug Ford or the president or even just like fucking that loser who's the ombudsman in Ontario, the little virgin moron.
Sure.
It just feels like it's been a long time since someone lost that should lose. And it just
is true.
And it just kind of felt nice to see. And like, it could be temporary. He could win the general election and the whole thing starts all over again. And it's terrible. But it just felt nice for once to see a vote go the right way. And I understand that, like, there have been small victories throughout the last few years and that people are fighting every day to make bigger victories or even just for small victories. I'm not trying to discount those at all. But from my perch of like seeing the bigger things because I'm kind of shitty, it felt nice and it made me feel good and happy about a political vote for once. And I hope it's a sign of things to come for the next 2 years. I don't think it will be because that's not how things work seemingly. But it just was nice to see. I don't want to call them the good guys because they're not.
Right.
But it's nice to see the worst guys take a loss.
Yes.
That's what I would say.
The greater of some evils finally took an L.
Yeah.
I think that's very well said. It's hard. It's very difficult to get optimistic about any of it.
Yeah. And I'm not. I want to be clear. I'm not optimistic
Absolutely.
about it. But it's just, it was, I don't know.
I don't know if you saw it. Hassan Minhaj's show.
Yes.
He had Trudeau on.
Oh, no, I didn't see this.
And really held his, here's the thing. It was a good, this is not my set, not sad, but sort of jumping off your thing. He did a very good job of holding Trudeau accountable for some of the climate change double talk about how he would say one thing and then build a pipeline through native land.
Right.
Selling arms to the Saudis and a lot of the things that he has been doing poorly in his time in office and broken promises and stuff like that. And it was good to see. But what worries me about it is there was like a half an hour dedicated to that. And there was one line that was like, Andrew Scheer is worse in every way about all of this stuff. And like, that's true.
Yeah.
But to me, people are going to see the half hour of footage about Trudeau looking like a dope and miss that one line.
That being said, the people who are going to vote for Andrew Scheer are not watching Hassan Minhaj.
That's too true. Too true. Good
but
point.
yeah, Canada's so fucking depressing. Like our best option
Conservative minority. It's going to be a conservative minority.
But like my point is the best option right now is a liberal minority, and that sucks ass.
It does suck some ass.
Stupid fucking country.
Anyway, sad, not sad. I am not sad.
Yay.
This weekend will be...
Like how quickly we turned mine.
Yes.
Sad,
well, it's the realities of life.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm deeply sentimental. I love my anniversaries. I love my days that things happen lining up with other days of things happening. The day that this comes out, tomorrow, the 5th, will be 1 year since I met with the man who is now my boss to beg him to hire me for a job. Today I interviewed Marshawn Lynch. Today I sat down with Marshawn Lynch. Tomorrow I'm going to sit down with Pat McAfee.
That's pretty cool.
If you interview Joe Montana, I get to do video work. I get to do podcasts. I get to do all this cool stuff. Go to Jays games. And most importantly, the smartest thing I've done in the last year of my life,
Just the last year?
the smartest thing that I've done in the last year of my life is propose to my now fiance.
Again, is it only the last
Well,
year?
it's the smartest thing I've done ever.
Yeah.
But when I was in a very dark place a year ago,
Mhm.
that was the only thing I knew I was doing right. And it has been now a year of engagement. That has, I tell you, when people say time flies, when people say things have flown by, that year has been,
Yeah, I can't believe it's been.
Isn't it
makes sense,
unbelievable?
but like, I can't believe it's been a year.
it has been a year. This Saturday Sunday will be a year since we got engaged in Fayal de Terra, in the island of San Miguel in the Azores. Just what a year. What a change. What a absolute turnaround in my life, in the way I look at things and the way that I feel that I act on things and the way that I pursue things that I want. It has been transformative, and I am eternally grateful for the people that have helped me and the people that have been there to help me make these decisions and to facilitate some of this stuff and to just be supportive, and most of all, saying yes when I said, will you marry me? That is the greatest thing anyone has ever done for me.
It is a thing that I feel like we, as people, men, women,
Sure.
whomever, forget about when you talk about your engagement story. That like, even if you know, like, there's still a chance like, that wasn't going to be a yes.
Had to say yes. And she did. And I am so happy. And we played tennis last week, and it was so much fun.
Who won?
We didn't keep score. We were
Good.
just sort of rallying. We're both not very good.
It's so hard.
It's impossible.
It's
And
so
like,
hard.
honestly, here's the thing, when you're playing for the first time in a long time, like it wasn't appealing to play competitively.
No.
That's not.
Oh my God, no.
Like, I'm going to hit it as hard as I can past her, and then she's going to serve and hit it as hard as she can past me. Like, I'm not running that hard. It's not going to happen. Cross court winner every time if you'd like.
Yeah.
Just don't hit it out. Like, it's not,
I have never played, in my adult life, I've never played a game of competitive tennis.
It is super fun though to get out there, and you're so much worse than you think you are.
Yes.
Because like you watch it, right? This has so quickly gotten to here's how I play tennis versus I love my fiance, who I do. But like my
She loves tennis though.
absolutely
So it works.
correct. Like the third shot of our little like just kicking it around. I was like, oh yeah, I can do a running backhand slice. Sure. Of course. Yeah, of course I can do that. Why wouldn't I be able to hit a backhand slice on the run?
I haven't tried to play tennis in a long time. I played a little bit when I was a kid, and I was like, fine.
It's tons
but
of
I'm
fun.
a child, so like it's not
Yeah.
real. And then I remember I think I must have been in high school or university, and going to play with some friends, and assuming that because I play as a kid, I'd be fine.
No.
I was not, and I've not played since. But I feel like I'd be even worse now, and it's so fucking hard.
I can get down with some doubles, I think. Anyway,
Yeah, less running, just like smacking it.
that's the damn show.
Yeah,
I had a great time. It feels so good to be back. I can't
it
even tell
does
you.
feel really good to be back.
Thank you to Sean and Clay, and most importantly, Dylan, who's actually in the room
It's true.
and isn't just giving us paper and walking away.
He's actually doing something.
And to our new viewers on YouTube,
Hello.
if you open this and watch the whole thing, wow.
Yeah. Also, congrats to us.
Congrats to
for
us. We did
taking
it.
hiatus and coming back.
On schedule. Speaking of on schedule, we will be back next week. We're pretty sure Wednesdays is the new thing.
Yeah, I think so.
So a week from now, we will have so much to talk about, I assume, or nothing.
Or nothing. We still got I know we took August off, but we still got a couple weeks
Yeah.
before things start happening.
We'll have the first football games. I don't know.
You excited to talk about nothing happening with Mitch Marner?
Well, this will be training camp time.
Does it start already?
Training camp starts this weekend, I think. I have no idea. I don't know why I even said that. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, Media Day is soon. Media Day is soon.
Sure.
That is it for the show. Thank you so much for listening to Sportsfeld. Sportsfeld!
Boom. Good stuff.
It's really weirdly lit.
It is.
Funny. Fun. Dylan, have fun editing all that.
Oh, it's been great.
I don't think there's anything.
I think it's
No, I don't think
I
it's
thought we-
cut.